Good morning, and welcome to all of you people who love rain and parades and having to figure out new places to park or not read the news and come in a half an hour early. Good morning and welcome to the Universalist Church, in which love is the spirit. We are very glad you are here. Whether you're here in our sanctuary or anywhere in the world on our live stream. I am Reverend Christi Przestwor, the Pastoral Care Assistant at this congregation. If you are a visitor, we hope you signed one of our guest books at either the front end of this building as you came in from the rain, or at the back end of the building as you came in from the portico. And that you visit our webpage, which is www.westhartforduu.org, to learn more about us. There you can use the contact page, and it will help you get into our electronic mailing list. Our electronic communications are the best way for us to stay connected. And if you haven't signed up for electronic communications, today was a perfect example of why you should have signed up for electronic communications. We look forward to helping you become part of this Universalist Church. After worship, we'll have fellowship in Fisk Hall and through Zoom. Please join our sharing there. If you need help finding where to go to get to Fisk Hall for our fellowship hour, any member of the church will be happy to guide you there. Just look for someone wearing a Universalist Church name tag, which I don't have on. Follow my turquoise stole. You can find the link for Zoom fellowship in your weekly news or our Breeze calendar. If you aren't getting the weekly news, please sign up for it on our website. And now I invite you to take a moment, make your mobile phone silent. There's a little side button, make it red. And now turn off your email. Put away your keyboards if you're at home, and settle in for our worship this morning. We are so glad you are here. Welcome to all of those joining us from their home couch, recliner, bed, in their PJs, however you have decided to join us, and welcome to everyone who is here. So as I invite you, as we light our chalice here, that you light your candle or chalice there. And this always scares me because it gets too long. But like Marvy last week, it just happens, you know. We light our chalice as a symbol of our faith and our beloved community. This flame reminds us of the light we each have to share. We do this sharing through our collective presence in not only this sacred place we call our church home, but in the ever-present love we carry into our communities where we live and work and play. May our chalice always speak to us of this challenge, a challenge we have accepted and honor in continuing to build community with one another everywhere we find ourselves. Our opening hymn is hymn number 355 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or in spirit if you are able, and in the sanctuary or wherever you are as we sing together. Please join me now in our Unison Affirmation, our covenant, as printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated. Today, our time for all ages is an excerpt from Big Panda and Tiny Dragon. Now, I realize a lot of you are not going to be able to see every little detail from the book, but I'm going to show you some pictures as I read the story, part of the story. I'm only reading a few pages of the story. Here is Little Dragon and Big Panda. Little Dragon is a stick dragon. So, okay. Be brave. You never know what a first meeting might lead to. As the dragon is touching the panda on the nose and then holding the panda's hand in the grass. A new day and a new beginning, said Tiny Dragon. What shall we do with it? Which is more important? Asked Big Panda. The journey or the destination? We've all asked that question before. The company, said the Tiny Dragon. And the Tiny Dragon is writing a note on a tree stump as the panda is looking up at the berries in the tree. I'm too busy to see the flowers right now, said the Tiny Dragon. All the more reason to look at them, said the big panda. And they might not be here tomorrow, you know. Now, the dragon is looking at a spider web with the spider hanging down from the tree, and the panda is watching Little Dragon. Isn't nature incredible? Said the Tiny Dragon. It is, agreed Big Panda. But we are just as much a part of nature as the tree or the spider. And you know, just as amazing. Now, Little Dragon is on the bum of the panda as they're walking down the road. Big Panda, said Tiny Dragon, I like the way you listen to me and talk to me and travel with me. But most of all, I like the way you make me feel. And in the color picture, Little Dragon's on the head of the panda, looking at a ladybug at the top of the flower, over here. Try to make time for the small things, said Big Panda. They are often the most important. The most important thing, said Big Panda, is to pay attention. Just because you don't know where you are going, it doesn't mean you are lost, said Tiny Dragon profoundly. Very true, replied Big Panda. But in this case, we are definitely lost. So they're crossing a bridge over the river. And they're looking at a tree that's hanging off of a cliff. Little Dragon's right here and Panda's on another rock. That tree has been through some rough times, said Tiny Dragon. Yes, said Big Panda. But you know what? It's still here. And it has gained strength and more beauty. Hurry, squeaked Tiny Dragon. There is so much to do. The river doesn't hurry, said Big Panda. Yes, despite many obstacles, it always gets where it's supposed to be going. And now Little Dragon is looking at a big hump of clay, earth, and Big Panda is chewing on a bamboo shard. Nothing is happening, said Tiny Dragon. Maybe, said Big Panda. It's happening underneath there. They're sitting in a bamboo swatch along the river. Sometimes I think I'm not good enough, said Tiny Dragon. And I'm sure none of the people sitting here have ever felt that way, right? A cherry tree doesn't compare itself to other trees, said Big Panda. It just blossoms. And now they're playing with each other. Dragon is dancing in the air. Sometimes you just have to be silly. Each decision you make on your journey takes you closer or further from where you wanted to go. Mistakes mean you're trying, said Big Panda. Don't give up, even when you make them. I want to change the world, said Tiny Dragon. Start with the next person you meet who needs your help, replied Big Panda. And now Little Dragon is looking at a paper map, and Panda is still chewing on his bamboo stalk. The map doesn't show where I'm supposed to go, said Tiny Dragon. Your journey isn't shown on any map, said Big Panda. You must discover your own path. And that is our time for all ages this day. So may Big Panda and Little Dragon be a part of who you are for the week ahead. The voluntary offering, the sharing of our resources for our shared work as a religious community, is a spiritual practice for us all. By offering our time, talent, and treasure to this community, we help one another serve our members, our friends, and the wider community of which we are a part. As part of that service, we share our general offering each week with organizations that do work in the world that brings us ever closer to creating the beloved community. You, the Vote is an initiative created by the Unitarian Universalists Association Side with Love team, providing UUs an easy-to-engage opportunity to bring our democratic values to life in the crucial struggle to build a genuine, multicultural, multiracial, multi-aware democracy. UU the Vote engages people in voter registration, issue education, get out the vote drives, voter protection, state leadership development, and much, much more. UU the Vote does year-round movement building toward ultimately designing a truly inclusive democracy. To give electronically, please use the QR codes on your order of service, the links in the description of this service, or those on our website to make your donation to our offering. Here in the sanctuary, our offering will now be gratefully honored and received. receive these offerings on behalf of this community and the community of which we are a part of a larger community. I appreciate your generosity, and the community appreciates it more. Thank you. Please rise if you are willing and able, and join me in reading number 531 in the gray hymnal, the Oversoul. That side is the pulpit side, and they will read the Roman type, and this side is the italics, and we will read the italic side. So I'll start pretending I'm over there, okay? Let us learn as there is no screen or ceiling between our heads and the infinite heavens, so there is no bar or wall in the soul where we, the effect, cease and God, the cause, begins. I am constrained every moment to acknowledge a higher origin, for thence the middle way I call mine. There is a deep power in which we exist, and whose beatitude is accessible to us. Every moment when the individual feels invaded by the memorable. It comes to the lowly and simple. It comes to whosoever will put off what is foreign and proud. It comes as insight. It comes as serenity and grandeur. The soul's health consists in the fullness of its perception. Forever and ever, the influx of this better and more universal self is new and unsearchable. Within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. When it breaks through our intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affections, it is love. Now, let us join in singing our Doxology. Please be seated. Over this past week, acknowledgement has been given to those who inspired us with their willingness to lose their lives in our international recognition of D-Day. May we, in this time of pastoral prayer, also hold all those who are presently serving their countries in military service, asking that there will come a time when peace will reign and war will be no more anywhere on this earth. In our beloved community, please hold the family of Mike and Sherry S., as well as Hannah G., as they celebrate the love and life of Mike's father, who died after 97 years of living and loving life fully this past week. Peggy G. asks for our community's prayers and good wishes as she and her family hold Peggy's husband, Walt, close as he recovers from a craniotomy to stop a brain bleed after a head trauma this past week. Let us ask that these spoken requests, as well as those held in each of our hearts, be answered by the Spirit of the divine in our shared silence. As we all go about our week ahead, may we hold the prayers we uttered and the prayers that we hold in our hearts with us in all we do. Our reading today is from The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. When someone chooses to lift the curtain on a perceived imperfection in her story, on a circumstance or condition that traditionally might be considered a weakness, what she's often actually revealing is the source code for her steadiness and her strength. As we've seen plenty of times in our own history, the strength of resolute soul can become the strength of many. I thought about this when I had the privilege of being present on the inaugural stage on January 20th, 2021, as a young writer named Amanda Gorman stepped up to the microphone in a sunny yellow coat and electrified an audience of millions by reciting a poem that was perfectly tuned to one of the most fraught and complicated moments in our recent history. Quite honestly, I was afraid of what might happen that day. I swear you could feel everything in the air that morning on the National Mall. The tension and the determination. The profound longing for change. The anxiety wrought by the pandemic. The specter of violence we'd endured at the Capitol. the wider worries about where we were headed, the sunshine of a new day. It was all there, lingering and unspoken, contradictory, and a little unsettling. Amanda Gorman's delivery that day was effervescent. Her voice was pure power. She has oratory skills that are rare for anyone, let alone a 22-year-old. And she used her words that day to boost hope for a sagging, grieving nation. Don't give up, the poem told us. Keep working. I begin this Sunday with a question for you. How unusual. Because Joy never asks questions. The question is, where do you look for inspiration? got that fixed in your head where you look for inspiration? Good. The word inspiration has its root in the Latin word in spiritus. In that ancient language, it means to blow or breathe into or upon. So one of the things that happens in the ordination of a minister or the recognition of ministry with all of you who do ministry so well is we hold our hands and we bless one another. Or we hold each other's hands at the end of the service and we bless one another. We breathe upon one another. We share our spirit with one another. Just as our shared music spoke to giving thanks for all the gifts of life, of hope and love, of wisdom, truth, and right, all the gifts that shine like stars, the inspiration from the images from the song Spirit of Life remind us to care for and hold one another in our spirit of love always. I'd like to take a few minutes this morning, and I know we're over time, so I will make it as short as possible, to replay in your minds and hearts the last 2 weeks for you from my vantage point as your pastoral care provider. I do this in order that you might see inspiration as it unfolds among us all the time. Let's start with that thing called an auction. Wow. This call was filled with moment after moment of inspiration. Each one of the items advertised and exhibited either online or on the tables in Fiscal required the inspiration of envisioning that item and then the literary vision in writing to describe it, and then a pictorial way of displaying it in front of you as you walk by each table. Did you see those beach balls hanging from the ceiling? They were there to get you to feel the up, up, and away feeling of being in a basket under a balloon. I got the feeling. I wanted to be back on the West Coast, flying off the cliff over the ocean. How about the way each section of the auction was designed? So that anyone who attended, whether online or in person, could participate. All were invitations of inspiration to inclusivity. Then we had the joy of live music, wonderful drinks and food, lovely specially dressed committee members, and then, of course, the splendor of sharing with one another and our MCs. Real people inspiration, alive and vibrant. Now, flip a page and go to last Sunday's service. Flowers galore were all along the front of the chancel, and they brought tenderness and care with them. I have my paper flower designed by some little person sitting on my desk at home, which I will cherish for the entire year until the next flower communion. But note all the ways we assist one another to grow and become more thoroughly the beloved community we strive to be. Emma sang just now, when people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. And yet, it's the world we all inhabit. We journey through it. We experience in the wonders of raindrops, and snowflakes, hopefully far out there yet. In the relationships of our friends and our foes alike. It is the world we prepare for each new day as we rise and, like the little dragon, go, "It's a new beginning, a new day, a new chance to reach out, to grow further." The change we can experience from one another is a change that is needed. But we all need to do the changing within ourselves, voluntarily. We need to, just like the General Assembly theme this year, unite in love and allow our stories to ignite us, to inspire us, to allow the profound impact of loving one another that transcends boundaries and any kind of incumbent fence to be taken down. Our faith has always been rooted in the power of storytelling. And so, as this Sunday comes upon us, I call upon you to listen to each other's stories, to allow those stories, whatever they are, stories of harm in some cases, stories of profound joy in other cases, stories that bind us together as humans, making a journey toward a destination we don't know. Just as Michelle Obama noted in her recognition of the vibrancy of Amanda Gorman, perhaps we too can recognize inspiration from these words read at the National Mall. And this is just an excerpt. "So let us leave behind a country," and in our case this morning, a community, "better than the one we were left. With every breath from our bronze-pounded chests, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rebuild, we will reconcile, and we will recover." As we prepare for the week ahead and the General Assembly of our association, which will happen in 11 days, may inspiration breathe renewed life into our communal beings. May we speak and listen from within and allow the core value of love be the center of all our inspirations. May we not give up, but keep working toward the beloved community. May we leave behind a much richer, much better, more compassionate, more loving community than the one we walked into today. May this be so. Amen. Please join me in singing our closing hymn, number 121, "We'll Build a New Land." let us speak together our unison benediction. Engage with the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Please remain for our postlude. Okay. Raj, go ahead.
Aside from the time change and stuff, these days there's a lot of activities going on. For anybody who is new to the church, follow me to the fellowship hour. But because it was announced or it was put in the service that this would be the meeting for the first Sunday, that won't happen. I just want to be able to communicate to the people who are here the first time. Thanks.